Food bloggers, hi, how are you today? Thank you so much for tuning in to the Eat Blog Talk podcast. This is the place for food bloggers to get information and inspiration to accelerate your blog's growth and ultimately help you to achieve your freedom, whether that's financial, personal, or professional. I'm Megan Porta. I have been a food blogger for 13 years, so I understand how isolating food blogging can be. I'm on a mission to motivate, inspire, and most importantly, let each and every food blogger, including you, know that you are heard and supported. Can I just say how much I love my guests? I love my listeners. I don't know why I felt prompted to say that right now, but I just feel so filled up after talking to Madeeha Anwar. She is from the blog Now Delish, and we had this amazing conversation about understanding this concept that blogging is a marathon. It is definitely not a sprint, and how we should prepare our mindset to align with this. Madeeha has been blogging for a couple of years, and she's learned so much in these past 2 years because she really dug into learning. She invested in her blog and her business in different ways. She plans ahead. She understands what's entailed in this long game. She gives herself grace to procrastinate when she's just not feeling it on any given day. And we have such a great conversation around this topic. I think no matter what stage of blogging you're in, you will find this valuable. You'll find it inspiring. Listen to the whole thing from start to finish too. I hope you love it. It is episode number 537, sponsored by RankIQ. Hello there, food blogger friends. I want to take a really quick break from this episode to chat about a few ways Eat Blog Talk can help you to feel connected, as well as to get your hands on relevant, valuable information in 2024. It has been a bit of a tumultuous year so far. Do you agree? But you have come too far to stop now. This time is a minor blip in the journey, so buckle up and let's do this journey together and come out on the other side stronger than ever. Eat Blog Talk now has a Facebook group. Go join the Eat Blog Talk community Facebook group to get in on some great discussions. Once you're inside, you will gain access to a free job postings shared document, whether you're offering a service or looking for a service. There's also the new-ish accountability group that Eat Blog Talk offers. This group is a low investment membership for anyone looking to connect with peers and grow your business. This is for newer bloggers, intermediate bloggers, and experienced bloggers. We offer robust calls and Slack discussions and so much more in this group for the low cost of $34 a month. The Eat Blog Talk Mini Minds and Mastermind groups are still being offered in 2024 and beyond. Mini Minds groups start up again in October, and we will start filling the 2025 Mastermind group in late summer of 24. Join the waitlist for one of these groups, and you will not be disappointed. And last but not least, join us at an in-person retreat. If you are ready to learn, grow, and build relationships in person, join me and a handful of your fellow food bloggers at an upcoming Eat Blog Talk retreat. This is such a great opportunity to convene in an intimate setting so you can learn, collaborate, and connect. These retreats involve mastermind-style peer-to-peer collaborating, and they're incredibly powerful, delicious, so much good food, and fun. For all the offerings mentioned, head to eatblogtalk.com and you will be directed in the appropriate way. We are more than just a podcast. Go explore some of these other offerings as your time and budget allows. Can't wait to see you in some of those other places. Now back to the episode. Madeeha is a baker, recipe developer, food stylist, and photographer. Her blog, Now Delish, was started in December 2021. In addition to the blog, Madeeha continues to work full-time and has reached a point where she knows how to organize her blog well to keep things moving forward. Now Delish primarily features baking recipes and easy main course recipes, especially the authentic Pakistani recipes that she grew up with. Hello, Madeeha. Thank you so much for joining me. How is your day going so far?
Hi, Megan. Thank you so much for having me. And my day is wonderful because I got a chance to talk to you. So far, so good.
Same. I feel the same. Right back at you. I am super excited about this topic. I love it. Blogging is definitely a marathon, right? It's not something we can accomplish in a short amount of time. And this is such an important message, especially this year. So I'm excited to dig into it. But first, do you have a fun fact to share with us?
Yeah, sure, Megan. So I think my fun fact would be that we are three sisters and we live continent apart. So one of the sisters is in Pakistan, the other one is in Sydney, Australia, and I'm here in Virginia, United States.
Oh my gosh. So how often do you get to see each other?
Quite often, once a year we try to gather together in one of the countries. So yeah, that's one goal that we stick to, that we
Yeah.
have to meet each other. For example, I'll be leaving for Australia next month. So it's great. It's hard as well. People call me that you have a global family, rightly so, but it also gives you a chance to travel a lot.
Absolutely. Yes, lens for opportunity. That would be amazing, actually, to have something that propels you to go travel the world. You got to see your family, so you might as well get out and explore, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a cool fun fact. Love it so much. Would you mind, Madeeha, just giving us a little bit of a background about your blog, when you started? What's your blog all about? Anything you feel is relevant?
Yes, sure. So I started my blog back in December of 2021. It's been a little over 2 years into blogging experience and about 100 posts. And I have been dealing with my blog along with a full time job. In my other life, I'm a journalist and I work full time. And then, I'm handling this blog. My basic niche for my blog is baking. But I've also added, the recipes, main course recipes, especially the authentic Pakistani recipes, the cuisine I grew up with.
Oh, and it's so beautiful. I love just the color in your photography. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes, you can tell that you've put either you're like naturally talented or you've put a lot of work into that or both, maybe. I don't know, but it's gorgeous. Okay, so I love that you are kind of a new blogger because you already are seeing that this whole blogging game cannot be done in just a short amount of time. So you see the importance of having that mindset that it is a marathon, it's not a sprint, and that you need to adjust accordingly. So at what point did you realize that blogging was a marathon?
So, not in the beginning, Megan, I will be very honest with you. And, I was going through I was doing some background research before digging into blogging. And, there were posts like, earning $1,000 within 1 month of blogging or 3,000 within 2 months of blogging. I was like, wow, this is very easy. And, I'm a good baker. And everybody always tells me that I bake beautifully and, really amazing, delicious baked goods. So I thought, why not give it a try? Everybody wants to have a side hustle as well. So that was also in my mind. Little did I know at that point that what I'm putting myself into. So after I would say, I started blogging, and the first 3-4 months I was very excited about it. But after that, I started to realize that it's not that easy, and there are so many different dimensions and layers to it, and you explore so many things along the way once you are into it. It's very different to see it from an outside perspective, but once you're inside it and you have started blogging, and there are so many different things that you have to learn, you have to take care of, and you have to be wary of. So it makes it a very different experience altogether. So I would say it took me about like 6 to 8 months to come to that understanding.
Yeah. And do you find that having the wrong perspective, so thinking that you can just get started with blogging and find success immediately, leads to disappointment?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was my case. And it could be both, disappointment and also embracing yourself for this change. And because, there is not a get rich quickly type of scheme. So it's definitely not that. So once you have made up your mind that, okay, this is something that I want to do, of course, this is going to be a little disappointment in the beginning, but then you will embrace yourself. And if you love challenges like me, then you would say, all right, let's do it. Let's learn the game. Let's understand it. And let's do it accordingly.
And be in it for the long haul and just, adjust your story as needed. But what do you have specific ways that we can wrap our heads around this? If somebody listening is maybe having those expectations that it should be a really easy, fast success, what are some things that they can do to change their perspective to get on just that mindset of being a long game?
Absolutely. So I think after 2.5 years of blogging, I also have a few points that I can talk about. And I hope so, that it is going to be useful for other bloggers as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's hear them. What do you have? What's a good place to start?
Sure. I think prior to planning, that would be my first thing to start with. I think it is a key factor to run a blogging business. It is very important, especially, if you are somebody like me who is very disciplined in their life and also who have a full-time job. So it's not easy to juggle around between these two things very easily. So I have a thing that I prepare a content schedule each month, and my days are marked for different tasks. For example, one day is to shoot the recipes and to take the pictures and edit the photos. I do this all at one day, and then I write and publish the posts accordingly later in the month. And I believe that for me it's much easier to stay on top of my game, and with my blog schedule, sticking to it, it's much easier when I have a prior planner in front of me. And, that makes it my life easier. I already have my keywords research done. I know next Wednesday, this is the recipe that I'm going to shoot. And these are the 8 or 10 recipes that I'll be posting in the coming month. So I think prior planning has worked wonders for me. Of course, some days you don't feel like sticking to the schedule, but if you have the prior planning, it makes it much easier. And also, I would say that content batching is also important. So, you can set different days for different tasks, and a content batch will help you to be able to produce more content by sticking to your planner as well.
Yeah, I love this point because not only does it help you to stay organized, but it helps to take off a mental load, right? Like it takes out the guesswork. You already know what's coming, so you just dig in and do it, right?
Absolutely.
And then how far in advance do you typically plan your content and also your organization, like how your week and month is going to go?
I would say 1 to 2 months, but definitely a month ahead. Usually it's a month ahead. For example, right now I know what I'm going to do throughout the April, but sometimes I can plan for 2 months in advance, and that's really great. But most of the time it's a month in advance.
Okay. Love this. I think it's one of the most important things to have in place. Just set that cadence of your content and the way your blogging is going to go, and just keep going with it, right? It's a long journey ahead, so keep at it. What else do you have for us, Madeeha?
So, Megan, of course, understanding the game, understanding the rules of the game, I think it's another very critical factor and a key factor to understand that, as you said at the beginning, that blogging is a marathon, and, that's how it should be treated. And nobody should expect results right away. There's a lot of work and sweat that will go into it before you will see any results. So it's not like a lottery scheme. Okay, you have purchased this ticket and you will get a lot of money out of it. No, and it's not a get rich quickly type of scheme. You have to put your heart and sweat into it, and then you will get the results. So understanding the whole process is very important. And as I said, in the beginning, I also had no idea about blogging. Once I was doing it on a regular basis, only then I understood how many different layers are to this thing and how many different dimensions are there, and how many hurdles you will face in your way. For example, Google Core Update, you have done so much work on your website, and all of a sudden your traffic that you were getting is down, and you are totally clueless what to do. And you need to figure out so many things. You need to figure out search engine optimization. You need to learn social media. You need to learn photography, artificial lighting, and the list goes on and on and on. It can be overwhelming, quite frankly, and it will take you some time before you can grip on blogging. And there is so much competition, Megan. I mean, there are so many bloggers out there. They are all competing for the same thing. So it is definitely not easy. There are so many people around you who are striving to get same results as you, or even they are better in their work than you. And you have to, look at their work and admit it, and then tell yourself, all right, I have to, level up my game.
Yeah.
And it's never easy because you have to learn skills, you have to practice it, and only then you are going to get some results. So that also brings to me to one more point,
Yeah.
be ready to improvise, in this whole journey. You should be ready to improvise because, there are so many things that are going to change continuously. You have to follow the trends. Blogging game will change. So much has changed in the past couple of years. And, I listen to your podcast and some other podcasts where I hear, bloggers like you have been doing it for so many years. And the changes that you have seen and the changes that you share, and, I always get amazed by it. So it's like constantly evolving. And you should be able to improvise accordingly. You should be able to adapt the changes quickly and to learn them and to start again.
And accept that change is part of that journey, that you are not going to get out on the other side without massive changes. That is just a given.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that one too. And not also to acknowledge that it's not easy all the time, right? Like some of those changes you mentioned can be really hard and at times devastating. The helpful content update, for example, was really devastating for a lot of people's traffic. So not to diminish that or minimize that, like, oh, it's changed, just deal with it. That's not what you're saying, I don't think, and not what I'm saying. It's just like more of a, yes, it's hard, but come to terms with it. Figure out what you need to do to pivot and keep moving forward, that sort of thing.
Exactly. And these things can be so disappointing and it's not easy to pick yourself up again, right? It's, you have to constantly tell yourself, no, you can do it. And at times it's not easy, to be honest. But if you want to be a part of this game, then you have to learn this.
Exactly. And you mentioned competition earlier. Something to give you an edge over that competition is this: wrapping your mind around the fact that you are going to have to face changes. You are going to have to pivot. And this game is going to take a long time. So that is your edge right there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What else do you have for us? What other things are on your list, Madeeha?
So, Megan, I think one more thing while, you're embracing yourself to adapt to all these changes and to understand this game of blogging, there's one more thing. You need to be easy on yourself as well. For example, I'll tell you, you should allow yourself to procrastinate. And what I basically mean by it, as I explained in the beginning that, I have a content planner and I always think that prior planning is better. But, there are days when, when I have a task and I want to do it, but, I don't feel like that. So for such days where, while I know it is best to stick to your scheduled tasks for the blog, but you should also allow yourself to procrastinate at times like these, because, that's how we humans operate. There will be times when you just don't want to do anything. Then don't curse yourself or don't be hard on yourself. Just allow to take that one day off and tell yourself, all right, I'll start again from the following day. So set the goals, but don't kill yourself. If you have fallen out of the track, give yourself time to get back to your routine. Give yourself some time to make you realize that, you are into it for the long duration. And, this realistic approach is going to prepare you better to stay focused in the longer run. And as we said, it's a marathon. It's not a journey for one day that, you're done with the race. No, it's a constant race. So burnout is a real thing. And I find it very easy with blogging.
Yeah.
When you first start, you have no idea about it. But down the road, you will know about it better because then you would know, okay, how much time each task is taking. And, there are different tasks in blogging that you would like, and there are different tasks that you would not like to do. But you have to do all those things. So, of course, you have done your prior planning. You're done with keyword research. You have done groceries to make the recipes. But what happens on the baking day? You just don't feel like baking. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to be like that. So you have to tell yourself about it. It sounds weird, I know, but this is so true. And this has happened so many times with me. And, you feel like that you have fallen back, but then you have to muster up the courage. You have to tell yourself we are in this game for long duration, long times, and then you will start again.
Hello, food bloggers. Are you looking to spice up your social media account with unique and exciting content? If you want that secret edge that makes you stand out in your niche, I might have the answer for you. Katarina can help you streamline your podcasting and social media content with audio editing, video editing, or social media strategies. She specializes in working with food bloggers, tailoring her content creation packages to their needs. Whether you want to create something new, like a gripping podcast, or if you want to refresh your social media strategies by creating scroll-stopping video content for platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, she has got you covered. If this sounds intriguing, get in touch with Katarina. Go to eatblogtalk.com/resources to get more information about Katarina's services. Again, go to eatblogtalk.com/resources and click on her link. Now let's get back to the episode. Do you find that forcing work when you don't feel it, like you mentioned the baking day, if you have on your calendar baking day and you go into it and realize, I don't want to do this today, and then you force yourself to do it, it's actually counterproductive?
Absolutely. And I've done that too, Megan. I have done that too. And I find, that it's much better to avoid it than to force yourself into it. It's okay, as I said, taking a day off or two. It's fine. Even taking a week off, it's fine. Blogging is not a one-day game. So, you have to, as they say, you have to constantly feed the beast. It's literally like that. You have a blog and you have to constantly feed it. So it's okay to leave the task for that day. But as you said, if you are doing it, if you are forcing yourself to do it and your heart is not into it, it would also reflect in the posts. Ooh. I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the story of the tortoise and the hare. I know I bring this up all the time on the podcast, but it's so true. If you just go and force it and just do whatever you can to get to the finish line, you're going to burn out. You are going to be exhausted. You're not going to be fruitful. But if you're the tortoise who just hangs back and takes his time walking to the finish line, taking pauses when you need to. It's such a good metaphor for what we experience as food bloggers. Just see yourself as that like slower paced, but always moving forward person, right?
Absolutely. Moving forward is the game. Yeah.
Yeah, moving forward, because burnout, you mentioned burnout. It is a horrible place to be. And once you experience it, you'll be tempted to never come back to blogging again. I think a lot of food bloggers quit because of burnout, sadly.
And that is very real. Honestly, it's so real.
It is. And you think you're immune. I thought I was immune for so long, Madeeha. And I mean, nobody is. I experienced it and it was awful the first time. And then I did it again and then again. And I became an expert in burnout. And it's a really hard place to be. So you don't want to be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What else do you have?
Learning, Megan. I mean, invest in learning. Yes. It's very important because there are so many different things that you would want to learn. Be it search engine optimization, keyword research, photography. There are so many things that you have to learn when you start blogging yourself, and which you have no idea about that. Once you start blogging, then you have to acquire these skills as well. So this attitude that you are open to learning new skills, you are open to new challenges, and then you will take out time to learn those tasks. Again, these are not easy things to do. You would need hours and hours into learning and practicing and mastering these skills, probably years. But there is a starting point for everything. So you have to tell yourself that if you want to be a food blogger, then you have to be open to learning and invest into learning. And of course, this comes on to budget as well. I mean, I find myself lucky because I have a full-time job. So it makes my life much easier. I can take out money for different courses. For example, I have taken courses for SEO and keyword research to develop a better understanding. And not everybody can afford it. So what should they do? They should do what I was doing prior to this. It was like listening to your podcast or, the Food Blogger Pro podcast. And I think it is such a great thing. It is such a great thing you are doing for this community, Megan. Honestly, I want to appreciate you as well. It's such a good thing because, when people are coming to your podcast and they are sharing their real life experiences about food blogging, and, there are times when you can relate to them and there are times when you can learn from their experiences. It's unbelievable. And as they say, information is gold. You don't need to invest some money in listening to these podcasts and gaining all these experience. This is just amazing. And, eventually you can take those experience of other people and try to apply it in your blogs. And, there are chances that you will understand the craft of blogging better and probably eventually be seeing results. I think the more you get to know about different perspectives and stories of successes and sometimes failures as well, it will help you to make changes in your blogging career as well. And it will help you to relate to these people. I always find all these podcasts a great experience that has helped me to find a path for myself and to solve some problems in my blogging journey as well. So I think this is a great service and everybody should be listening to these podcasts. And I would also recommend one more thing that is my go-to thing if I have any question. It's Food Bloggers Central Facebook group. I think it's such a nice group, diverse group. There are so many experienced food bloggers over there, and they are so open to anything. If I have any query regarding anything, I would just go and post it there. And, people will be there coming and giving you advice right away, telling you the ways how to fix your problems, your issues on the blog. I think it's a great community and it's a great resource, especially for new bloggers and also for the experienced ones as well. And lastly, last but not the least, I think YouTube, it's great. There are so many people over there. You can learn so many skills without investing any money. There is so much free content of high quality out there. And you just need to have the zest to go and search these videos related to your subject and, to learn, to be open to learning new skills. I think that is also very important for a food blogger.
Oh, you touched on so many good things there. And if you don't have the money up front to invest in courses or anything like that, you made a really good point. You can invest your time in the free stuff. There's a lot of free content in our space now. When I started food blogging, there was nothing. We were just like, here you go, figure it out. But now there's so much. There's podcasts, there's those Facebook groups, YouTube. So do that if you are discouraged about not having the money to invest, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's you just need to invest in time, as you said.
So what do you think about investing in other things? Like, I know there are plugins and themes and those sorts of things that are really important too. What are your thoughts on that?
Totally agreed with you. I mean, again, Megan, it depends on the affordability. I mean, it's best to go for the best available resources that, will help you to elevate your blogging from day one. For example, I have a Feast Plus theme and I have some paid plugins such as Yoast Premium, WP Rocket, WP Recipe Maker, Short Pixel, etc., that will help you with your SEO immensely, right from day one. If you can invest in it, wonderful. That's the best way to move forward. Do some prior learning about these things and, just get to know about these plugins. And if you can invest in them because, they will help you with your SEO game right from day one. And it is very important to understand the importance of a good website that is pleasing to eyes, and you're passing your Google core easily. So these are all things, and they all go hand in hand. But I think if you can take out some money to invest in these things, these will really help you with your website.
Yeah, that's great advice as well. And a lot of the things you mentioned are not massive investments. I mean, it's not like you have to spend thousands of dollars or even upward of $1,000. The Feast plugin, I think, is just a couple $100s a year. And that is such a good investment in just knowing that your site is taken care of on the back end. So I would say do your research, right? And then kind of determine what your budget is and see what you can afford. But you can do it really affordably if you're smart about it.
Absolutely.
All right. What else do you have for us, Madeeha?
And this is the thing that I've learned very recently, quarterly content analysis. Until recently, I was not good friends with my Google Search Console, and I thought it was very hard to understand it. And, there were so many things whenever I would go there. I thought they were very scary and I just couldn't make any sense around it. But I think it's very important to be friends with Google Search Console and to try to understand what it is telling you because it's all data and data is not going to lie to you. And, this data and analysis of this data is only going to help you to move the needle further in your career. You would know what is working for you, and you know what is not working, which are the posts that are performing well, which are not. You will also develop an understanding how your audience is receiving your content, and what they like, what they don't like, and things like that. So I would definitely say invest some time. And again, there is so much resource over internet and YouTube. And this is something that I've entirely learned over YouTube, to understand Google Search Console. You need to learn to know how this data analysis is going to help you in your blogging career. You need to learn it. You need to develop an understanding around it. You cannot get scared with it, as I have for the past 1 year or so. In the end, you have to develop the understanding if you want to improve your blogging. So I think that is also very important. And then, after every quarter, sit down and take notes and then compare it from your past quarter and see if there are any improvements or there are any things that you need to improve. It will tell you a lot about your website.
Yeah. Oh gosh, there's so much hidden in there. And just to acknowledge what you said too, it's really scary at first, I think, especially as a creative individual, like a lot of us are, going in and looking at analytics is like, oh gosh, no, thank you. I'd rather not. But once you get in and become friends with it, like you said, I love that term, it's really not so bad. And it can be really interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it can be your friend.
It can be your friend. Yes. Don't write that off, because it can also be directly correlated to increased traffic, increased revenue. So being friends with your analytics, I think, is a really good piece of advice. What else do you have for us?
So this is the last one. Of course, this totally depends. If you have the budget, get an audit. It's very important. Once you have applied all the above points that we have discussed, so many different things, and you're still not seeing the results that you expected to see after you have put so much heart and sweat into this blogging thing. And, for example, I had over 80 posts, and I was thinking that my traffic should be much more than this. And perhaps I'm doing something wrong. Then get an audit done with an SEO expert. Definitely. But know that it is going to be an expensive pill to swallow. It's not budget friendly. You have to take out budget for it. I recently did an audit with Casey Markey, and oh my God. I mean, I cannot even tell you. I got to know so many things. I had no idea I was doing so wrong. So, it was such a great session with him, and he was looking at my blog. He was telling me different things, changing some plugins, changing the style of the blog postings, and so many different things, and then at the end, I got such a big document from Casey, and, there are so many things that I have to get right on my blog. I'm still working on that long list, and I think it is going to take me a few months. So for now, I have put a pause on new posts, I think, for next couple of months. I'm trying to work around in these old posts, but I think from plugins to writing up the post, or to understanding how to write the alt text for pictures, or, to understand SEO, I think it's an eye-opening experience, at least for me. And I opted for it because, I've learned from so many people on your podcast and from other podcasts where these audits have helped them immensely with their blogging journey. So I would definitely recommend it. Definitely, it's going to be a little hard on your budget. But if you want to take blogging seriously, this is one thing that is really going to help you a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, great advice too, because sometimes we don't know what we don't know. Like we have no idea what we need to do because we have no clue what is even there, right? So sometimes we need to lean on the experts to tell us what we need to do. So great piece of advice there as well. And do you have anything else for us, Madeeha?
No, I think that would be it. That's all my experiences. That's what I've learned in my a little over 2 years of blogging experience. And, if you are a blogger, just hang on to it, learn skills, and eventually you will find your way around it.
If you could pull out maybe the biggest takeaway that you feel is important for somebody who just needs to grab that mindset that this is a long game, what would it be?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long game, and just be open to learn things. Be open to learn. Once you're open to learning new skills, new things, and you're able to apply it on your blog, and take it a step at a time and know that, you are in for a long time. And this is not a thing that you will be an expert within a year or 2 or 5 years. It's constantly evolving. You need to be open to it. You need to be constantly learning these skills. And only then, with that mind and attitude, you can be a good food blogger.
Yeah. I mean, I'm coming up on 14 years and I still don't feel like I'm an expert. I don't know anything. Everything changes all the time. There are new bloggers who come in who know way more than I do about something. So really, you never get to that point where you're like, yep, I'm an expert now. It's always going to be changing and you always need to be learning. So I think all of these points that you brought to the table are extremely important. Thank you, Madeeha. This was such a fun chat and so valuable.
Thank you so much, Megan. And let me tell you, I'm still in awe, and I'm still trying to tell myself, oh, I am speaking to you. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it was my pleasure. So great to connect with you today. Do you have either a favorite quote or words of inspiration to leave us with?
I have one, and it's by Winston Churchill. Never give up on something that you can't go a day without thinking about. And I think that's food blogging for me.
And that's funny because almost every food blogger I talk to says the same thing. We get obsessed with our businesses, which is a good sign that there's passion, right?
Definitely.
Great quote to end on. Love it so much. We'll put together a show notes page for you, Madeeha. If you want to look at those, you can head to eatblogtalk.com/nowdelish. Tell everyone where they can find you.
So it's the same handle over social media, Now Delish, for Instagram, for Facebook, and YouTube as well, although I'm not active there.
All right. Everyone go check out Madeeha and all of her amazing content. Thanks again for being here. And thank you so much for listening, food bloggers. I will see you next time. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Eat Blog Talk. If you are craving accountability, focus, and connection at a low monthly cost, join the Eat Blog Talk accountability group at eatblogtalk.com/focus. I will see you next time.